Don't look at me like that. My back hits the bedroom door, wood vibrating under the force of it. His wedding ring flashes when he grips my waist. Firm, possessive, like he's reminding me of the contract I signed with a lie. You're the one who said you liked men, he says quietly. The room smells like cologne and fresh sheets and the faint smoke from the candles his mother insisted on sending. Married. Official. Irreversible. I swallow. My body betrays me first. Heat crawling under my skin. Pulse loud in my ears. He feels it. Of course he does. His thumb presses into my hip, testing. This is what you wanted, isn't it? He asks. I almost laugh. I almost confess. I told my parents I was into men to avoid marrying his sister. Now I'm married to him. He leans closer, breath warm against my mouth. Why? He murmurs, eyes dark and steady. Do you react like you're starving? Welcome to BL Without Labels, where the story isn't defined by words. Stay with the story. Support us. Chapter 1. Chaos Arrangements. If you blink like that again, my mother's going to think I'm hurting you. I am being hurt, I mutter. Emotionally, spiritually, financially. The photographer coughs. The flash goes off. Somewhere between the third fake smile and the fourth congratulations. I realize this is no longer a manageable mistake. This is a fully legalized disaster with catering. Let me explain. My name is Jae Min Park, 24, supposedly straight, formerly engaged, almost, to a wealthy family's daughter I met exactly twice and once by accident in a hallway that smelled like orchids and money. So I did what any rational adult would do under pressure. I panicked and told my parents I was into men. Not questioning. Not, let me think about it. No, I went nuclear. I like guys, I said. I thought that would end it. It did not. Because the wealthy family we were trying to impress had a son. Enter Adrian Kong. Tall, broad shoulders, voice like he's permanently unimpressed. The kind of man who doesn't fidget because the world fidgets around him. He shook my hand the first time we met and held it just a second too long. I heard you're not interested in my sister, he said calmly. I laughed like a fool. Not particularly. He smiled like he'd just been handed something expensive. Good. And now here we are. Married. Legally. Publicly. With two sets of parents who think this is modern and progressive and excellent for business alliances. Adrian stands beside me during the reception, one hand resting at my lower back. Not gripping. Not forcing. Just there. Heavy. Steady. Claiming. You're sweating, he murmurs without looking at me. It's called survival response. His mouth twitches. You said you liked men. I do. I snap quietly. In theory. His eyes slide to me then. Slow. Assessing. In theory. Shit. I grab a champagne glass from a passing waiter and down it too fast. This is the problem. I lied to avoid a marriage. Now I'm in one. And the worst part? He's not embarrassed. He's not awkward. He's not forced. He wanted this. When his father asked him privately if he was sure, Adrian answered loud enough for me to hear from across the room. Yes, just that. No hesitation. Meanwhile, I'm standing here wondering why my body keeps reacting every time he leans in to whisper something. Why I notice the heat of his palm. Why my stomach flips when he smiles at someone else for too long. This was supposed to be fake, strategic, temporary. Instead, every time he touches me, it feels like he's testing something, and I don't know what he's trying to prove. Across the room, his sister, my original escape plan, raises her glass at me with a knowing smile. I consider faking my own death. Adrian's hand slides slightly higher on my back. You're thinking too loudly, he says. I ruined my own life, I reply. He leans down, lips brushing the shell of my ear just enough to make my pulse jump. You married me, he says quietly. That's not ruin. His grip tightens just slightly. Unless you're about to tell me, he adds, voice smooth as glass, that you lied. My heartbeat slams so hard I'm sure he feels it. I force a laugh. Relax, I say. Why would I lie about something like that? Adrian pulls back slowly, studying my face. And for the first time since this disaster began, he doesn't look calm. He looks curious. Chapter 2. Tactical avoidance, aka, I am not losing this war. You've been dodging me for 3 days. I've been busy, I reply, backing toward the kitchen like it's a safe zone. Marital paperwork, emotional processing, hydration. Adrian closes the distance anyway. He doesn't rush. That's the problem. He advances like he already knows I'm not going anywhere. We're alone in the apartment the family's bought us. Too big, too quiet. The air smells like new furniture and impending regret. You flinch every time I touch you, he says calmly. That's a reflex, like when you almost step on a snake. His eyebrow lifts. Are you comparing me to a snake? No, I say quickly. Snakes are predictable. His mouth twitches. He steps closer. Pivot. He shifts with me. This turns into a slow, ridiculous circle around the kitchen island. You're avoiding something, he says. I avoid cardio. I avoid taxes. I avoid emotional vulnerability. I contain multitudes. He stops walking. I nearly crash into him. His hand lands on the counter beside my hip, caging me without actually touching me. Jae-min, he says, voice lower now. Are you afraid of me? No. That comes out too fast. His gaze drops briefly, just briefly, to my mouth. My brain short-circuits. Abort. Distract. Deploy nonsense. Okay. I say suddenly. Important question. He blinks once. What? In this relationship dynamic, are you top or bottom? Silence. The air changes. His expression doesn't. But something sharp moves behind his eyes. Why? He asks evenly. For alignment purposes, I reply. Strategic planning. Compatibility charts. He studies me for a long second. I'm a top, he says. Crap. I straighten immediately. Oh, me too. No hesitation. No blinking. Pure confidence. His gaze drags over me slowly. Are you? Yes. Completely. Extremely. He steps closer. I hold my ground. Mostly because my legs have decided they're decorative. You don't act like a top, he murmurs. Oh, I absolutely do. How? I open my mouth. Nothing comes out. He leans down slightly, his voice brushing against my ear. You look like someone trying very hard not to react. My pulse betrays me again. Loud. Treacherous. I recover. Maybe you're wrong. I shoot back. Maybe you just assume you're dominant because you're tall and brood a lot. He laughs softly. Low. Controlled. If I said I was a bottom, he says casually, what would you say? I'd say I am too. His eyes darken. So either way, he says, stepping even closer. You're refusing to let me lead. I grin. Equality. He finally places his hand on my waist. Not rough. Not gentle. Certain. Or, he says quietly, you're stalling. My throat goes dry. Stalling what? His thumb presses slightly into my hip, testing. Whatever it is you're so afraid will happen if you stop joking. For once, I don't have a comeback. Because the truth is simple and humiliating. I asked about top or bottom so I wouldn't have to admit I have no idea what I am. And I'm terrified that if he keeps looking at me like that, I'm gonna find out. Chapter 3. Shared oxygen. The lights are off. That's worse. In the dark, everything feels louder. The sheets. My breathing. The fact that we are in the same bed because apparently married people are expected to act like it. Adrian lies beside me, one arm behind his head, the other resting on his stomach. Relaxed. Like this is normal. This is not normal. I'm on my back, stiff as a corpse at a viewing. If you're going to lie that rigidly, he says into the dark, at least breathe. I am breathing. You sound like you're preparing for surgery. I roll onto my side, facing away from him. This is fine. This is survivable. It's just proximity. Humans sleep near other humans all the time. Soldiers, campers, people who don't accidentally marry their escape plan's brother. The mattress shifts. He moves closer. Heat spreads along my back before he even touches me. My brain begins drafting my will. Jae-min, he says quietly. What? You think I don't notice? Notice what? Notice the panic? The way my pulse trips when he gets close? The fact that I cursed my parents at least 12 times during dinner? The bed dips again. His hand finds my waist. Not urgent. Not grabbing. Just there. My entire body goes on high alert. He turns me gently onto my back. His palm slides up, stopping at my ribs. I can feel his breath now. Close. Measured. He leans in. This is it. He's going to kiss me. I close my eyes. Internally, I am screaming at my parents, at myself, at the version of me who thought I like men was a clever strategy. His face hovers near mine. Seconds stretch. I brace. Nothing happens. No lips. No pressure. Instead, his hand shifts to my shoulder and he pulls me sideways, into him. My forehead bumps lightly against his chest. I blink, my eyes open in confusion. He exhales slowly, his chin resting on top of my head. That's enough for tonight, he murmurs. That's it. No kiss. No teasing. No proving anything. Just his arm wrapped around me. Solid. Warm. Unmovable. My body, traitorous and exhausted, starts to relax. You're not as composed as you pretend, he says softly. I huff against his shirt. You married me anyway. Faint pause. I did. His fingers press lightly at my back. Not possessive. Not demanding. Protective. The room goes quiet. My heart slows, sinking stupidly with his steady breathing. I wait for him to say something else. To push. To test me again. He doesn't. He just holds me. Like he's not in a hurry. Like he's already won something I don't understand. In the dark, half asleep, I realize something unsettling. I was more afraid of him kissing me, but I don't know what to do with him choosing not to. Chapter 4, Public Relations Disaster. You've got to be kidding me. That voice. Sharp. Familiar. Expensive. I freeze halfway to the kitchen. Of course she would show up. Emily Carter doesn't knock twice. She walks in like she still owns space she hasn't paid rent for in months. Perfect hair. Perfect posture. Smile sharp enough to cut glass. Her gaze sweeps the apartment, then lands on him, then on me. Oh my God, she says softly, mock sympathy dripping. You actually did it. You married him. I don't blink. I don't flinch. I just feel something inside me turn very, very cold. You came here to congratulate us? I ask evenly. She laughs. No, Jay. I came to see if this was a phase or a breakdown. Adrian steps into the room behind me. I don't hear him move. I just feel him solid, steady at my back. Emily's eyes flick to him. And you, she says lightly, you really believe this? Adrian doesn't answer immediately. That's what makes it worse. He slides one hand around my waist. Not tight, not aggressive, just deliberate. I believe, he says calmly, that you're standing in my house. Her smile twitches. Oh, relax. I just wanted to check if he finally admitted he panics when things get serious. That lands. I don't react. I won't give her that. She steps closer. You used to tell me you couldn't stand the idea of being tied down, she says sweetly. And now you're playing house with a man? That's bold. Even for you. My jaw tightens. This is a disaster. This is humiliation. This is... Adrian moves. Before I can process it, he turns me toward him, hand firm at my jaw. His thumb tilts my chin up. I barely have time to register the shift in his eyes before his mouth is on mine. Not hesitant, not questioning, certain, warm, controlled, claiming. My brain blanks. I hear her sharp inhale. He doesn't rush it. He doesn't deepen it either. Just enough. Just long enough. When he pulls back, his forehead almost touches mine. His voice is low, meant for me, but loud enough for her to hear. You talk too much when you're nervous, he murmurs. I can't tell if he means her. Or me. Emily clears her throat. Well, she says, brittle now. That's convincing. Adrian finally looks at her. Polite. unmoved, dangerous in a quiet way. You've seen enough. It's not loud. It's not threatening. It's final. She hesitates. Then she turns and leaves without another word. The door clicks shut. Silence floods the apartment. My pulse is still racing. Adrian's hand hasn't left my waist. I look up at him. You didn't have to do that, I say. I know. His thumb brushes once, lightly, at my jaw where he held me. But I wanted to. My throat goes dry. That kiss wasn't for show. And the worst part? For one reckless second, I forgot she was even there. Chapter 5, Wrong Narrative. The door hasn't even fully shut before he looks at me. Not angry, not jealous, assessing. Your ex-girlfriend, Adrian says calmly. So you're not into men. There it is. The sentence I've been sprinting from since the wedding. I run a hand through my hair. It's not that simple. It's actually very simple. His voice stays level, controlled. You dated her. Yes, that's typically how heterosexual panic works. He steps closer. Not aggressive. Worse, steady. You told your parents you like men. I did. You married me. Yes. And now you're telling me you don't? I'm telling you, I snap, then immediately regret the volume, that I used to date women. Silence. The kind that presses against your ribs. His jaw shifts slightly. So I'm what? He asks quietly. An experiment? That hits harder than her mockery did. No. The answer comes too fast. He notices. You kissed me back, he continues. My pulse spikes. I was under pressure. You closed your eyes before I touched you. My mouth dries. He remembers that. He steps in, close enough that I have to tilt my head to meet his gaze. If you're straight, he says softly, then why does your body keep reacting to me? Heat crawls up my neck. Because that's the problem. I don't know. I don't know what I am. I just know that when he kissed me, something in my chest didn't recoil. It leaned in. I didn't lie. I say quieter now. I just simplified. His eyes sharpen. Simplified how? I panicked. I admit. They were going to marry me off to your sister. I needed a way out. So I said I liked men. I didn't think. You didn't think they'd offer me instead. No. A beat. And now? He asks. Now I'm married to a man who isn't confused. Who isn't experimenting. Who doesn't waver. Now I'm the unstable variable. I don't know what I am, I say honestly. That's the first true thing I've said since this started. He studies me for a long time. Not cold. Not warm. Measuring. Emily thinks you're straight, he says finally. She thinks a lot of things. And you? My breath catches. He steps closer, hand settling at my waist again. Not forcing, not pulling away either. You're either not into men, he murmurs, or you're afraid of what that means. His thumb presses slightly into my side. And I don't chase men who don't want me. That stings more than it should. I grab his wrist before I can overthink it. He pauses. My grip isn't strong, but it's there. I didn't pull away, I say quietly. His eyes flick to my hand on him, then back to my face. No, he agrees. The air feels charged, tight, dangerous in a different way now. Not forced, not strategic, personal. You don't get to mock me and walk away. I add, because humor is safer than vulnerability. That kiss? That was overachieving. A faint smirk touches his mouth. Overachieving? Yes, excessively convincing. Very committed performance. He leans in slightly. That wasn't performance. My heartbeat stumbles again. And that, he says softly, is exactly why you're nervous. I don't have a joke for that. And for the first time, he doesn't look dominant. He looks like he's waiting. Chapter 6, Threat Level Cardiac Arrest. I should have kept my mouth shut. That's the conclusion I reach exactly 3 seconds after Adrian stops waiting. Because apparently, my husband has interpreted my emotional confusion as a green light. A very enthusiastic green light. Why are you stretching? I demand from the couch as he casually rolls his shoulders like he's preparing for a championship match. He glances at me. Tension. In your back. In general. That is not reassuring. Ever since the kiss incident, something shifted. He doesn't hover anymore. He doesn't test gently. Now he just moves. Confident. Intentional. Terrifying. This morning, he walked out of the shower with a towel slung low on his hips like he was auditioning for a scandal. I nearly choked on my coffee. He noticed. Of course he noticed. "You okay?" he asked calmly. "Yes," I wheezed. "Just experiencing a minor respiratory betrayal." He leaned closer. "You've been reacting a lot lately. I have allergies. To me. Specifically." He laughed, which is unfair, because when he laughs, it's deep and unbothered and does dangerous things to my nervous system. Now he's standing in front of me, sleeves rolled up, looking like he's decided something. "What?" I say cautiously. "Are you planning?" "I'm not planning," he replies. "I'm acting." That sentence alone nearly sends me into early onset heart disease. He walks toward me. I stand immediately. "Nope, absolutely not. Stay where you are." He keeps walking. I retreat. This is harassment of a legally confused man. "You're my husband. That doesn't mean you get to stalk me around the living room like a wolf in business casual." He corners me against the wall. Not violently, just effectively. There's a difference. "You said you were a top," he reminds me, eyes calm but amused. "I was bluffing." "I know." Rude. He places one hand beside my head. The other settles at my waist. My body betrays me instantly. Again. "This is a health hazard," I inform him. "My blood pressure is not built for this. You'll survive." That's optimistic. He leans closer. Not kissing. Just invading space. "Jae-min," he murmurs, voice lower now. "If I actually wanted to do something, you wouldn't be joking." Oh no. My brain short-circuits. "This is unfair," I say weakly. "You're weaponizing calmness. You're weaponizing denial." Touché. He slides his thumb lightly along my side. Not inappropriate. Just enough to make me hyper-aware of every nerve ending I own. If this continues, I warn dramatically, I cannot ensure the safety of my virginity. His eyebrow lifts. "Your what?" "My symbolic purity. My spiritual innocence." You were in a 2-year relationship." "That's irrelevant." He leans closer, lips near my ear. "Are you trying to convince me?" he says softly. "Or yourself?" I grab his shirt, not pushing him away, just holding, which is suspicious behavior for someone allegedly terrified. "You," I accuse, "are no longer a waiting husband." "No." Someone stop him. I mutter to the universe. "Call the authorities. Call my mother." "Actually, don't call my mother." He laughs again, low and controlled, and pulls me into him. Not forcing, just firm. "You're the only one panicking," he says quietly. "That's because you look like you've already decided something." "I have. My heart does something medically concerning." "And what exactly have you decided?" Ask. He tilts my chin up. "That you're not as straight as you think." I freeze. He doesn't kiss me, doesn't rush, just holds my gaze. "And when you stop joking," he adds calmly, "you're going to realize that before I do." He steps back, walks away, leaves me standing there like a malfunctioning appliance. This man is going to be the end of me, not because he's forcing anything, but because he's absolutely certain. And I'm running out of excuses. Chapter 7, Public Image Casualty. "Are you two planning to divorce?" The microphones shove closer. Cameras flash like we're criminals instead of newlyweds. "Is this a strategic merger? Is Mr. Kong actually straight?" I feel Adrian's hand at my back. Steady, controlled, unbothered. Of course he's unbothered. He looks like he was born in front of cameras. I, however, am one headline away from cardiac failure. Someone in the crowd laughs. Political marriage, right? For company growth. That does it. Something sharp snaps inside me. Before my brain can consult legal counsel, I grab Adrian's collar and pull him down. Quick kiss. Fast. clean, efficient. They're public relations handled. I step back immediately, heart pounding. See? Strategic, professional, guarded his reputation, protected the brand. I am basically a marketing genius. Then, his hand slides to my waist, and he kisses me back. Not quick, not efficient, slow enough for the cameras to scream. There's a murmur in the crowd. Someone audibly gasps. His mouth presses firmer, deliberate, claiming space like he doesn't care who's watching. My brain exits the building. When he finally pulls away, his thumb brushes once along my jaw, casual as breathing. Any other questions? He asks the press smoothly. No one speaks. Good. They're stunned. Excellent. Damage control successful. Except my internal organs have liquefied. Back home, I launch myself into the bed and cocoon in blankets like a disgraced caterpillar. This is catastrophic. I groan into the fabric. Adrian shuts the bedroom door calmly. You started it. I pop my head out. I kissed you to guard you. You grabbed me in front of national media. That was tactical. He walks toward the bed. It didn't look tactical. It was a peck. I shout. A diplomatic peck. He raises a brow. Diplomatic. Yes. You. I sit up scandalized. You escalated. You kissed me first. I did not authorize a sequel. He actually laughs. The menace. He leans closer, one knee pressing into the mattress between mine. If you didn't want me to respond, he says quietly, you shouldn't have looked at me like that before you did it. My brain stalls. I looked strategic. You looked jealous. What? I was not jealous. You were. Of who? The reporters. He doesn't answer. He just pulls the blankets completely away and closes the distance, one hand bracing beside my head. Next time, he murmurs, voice lower now. Don't start something you don't want me finishing. My pulse betrays me again. I was protecting you, I insist weakly. His gaze drops briefly to my mouth. I don't need protection, he says, but I don't mind you claiming me. Claiming. That word does something reckless to my chest. I shove at his shoulder, not very effectively. You're impossible. And you, he says softly, leaning just close enough for me to feel his breath, are not as straight as the headlines think. I open my mouth to argue. Nothing comes out. Because the worst part, when the cameras flashed, I didn't feel like I was acting. Chapter 8. Insufficient reason. This isn't enough, Adrian says against my mouth. He doesn't pull away when he says it, which is rude. My hands are fisted in his shirt, originally to push him back. They have not completed that assignment. What isn't enough? I manage, breath already compromised. The press, he replies calmly, and then kisses me again, slow, measured, like he's proving a point instead of chasing heat. My brain is malfunctioning. You said you kissed me to protect me. He continues, voice low. That reason isn't enough. For? I start. His thumb slides along my jaw, tilting my face slightly. For this, he kisses me again. Longer, not frantic, not out of control. That's the worst part. He's completely in control. I am not going to survive this. I make a weak noise of protest that sounds suspiciously like surrender. This is abuse, I mumble against his mouth. Strategic overreach. You grabbed me first. That was public relations. And this, he murmurs, brushing his lips just barely against mine, is personal. Oh no. He kisses me again, deeper this time, not reckless, but certain. His hand settles at my waist, steady and firm, keeping me from retreating even though I'm not actually trying anymore. I try to argue. I really do. You're taking advantage of, confusion. You're not confused, he says softly. I glare up at him, which would be more effective if I wasn't flushed and slightly breathless. I am extremely confused. You only argue when you're losing. I am not losing. He kisses the corner of my mouth. That wasn't an argument. My heart is beating like it's trying to file a complaint. This is unfair, I mutter. You're strong and calm and irritating. And you're loud and pretending. Rude. He leans in again, but pauses just before our lips meet. Tell me to stop, he says quietly. The challenge hangs between us. I open my mouth. Nothing comes out, because I could say it. I just don't. His eyes darken slightly, not triumphant. Certain. That's what I thought, he murmurs. And then he kisses me again. Not for the press. Not for strategy. Not for image. Just because he wants to. My hands tighten in his shirt despite my best efforts to maintain straight boy dignity. This is how heart disease happens. I breathe when he finally pulls back. A faint smirk curves his mouth. You'll survive. That's optimistic. He brushes his thumb lightly over my lower lip. Slow, deliberate, like he's memorizing the reaction. If you're going to keep kissing me, he says quietly, at least admit the real reason. I swallow. I don't have one. He leans closer, forehead almost touching mine. Yes, he says softly. You do. And the terrifying part? I think he's right. Chapter 9. 2 months is not forever, allegedly. I'll be gone for 2 months. I say, like I'm announcing a dentist appointment. Adrian doesn't answer. He just stands there, watching me. I continue folding my shirts with aggressive confidence. Very stable, very emotionally detached, definitely not internally spiraling. It's just business, I add. International expansion, meetings, networking, capitalism. Still nothing. When I turn around, he's closer. Of course he is. He's been orbiting me all morning. Kitchen, closet, living room. Every time I move, he appears again like a tall, well-dressed shadow. Are you circling me? Ask. No. You are. I'm not. You absolutely are. He shifts slightly, which is not a denial. I stare at him. He stares back. There's something different in his expression. Not dominant, not teasing, unsettled. And that, for some reason, makes my chest ache. It's 2 months, I say lightly. Not war deployment. He exhales slowly. Foreign country, he replies. Different time zone. I own a phone. That's it. Just Suddenly I realize something horrifying. Is he sulking? I squint at him. You're not allowed to be sad. I inform him. You're the calm one. He looks almost offended. I'm not sad. You followed me into 3 rooms. I live here. I laugh despite myself. Because he absolutely has been trailing me like a giant, intimidating puppy who doesn't want to admit he's attached. And that visual alone nearly destroys my composure. You're ridiculous, I say. You're leaving. It's quiet, simple, honest. That does more damage than any teasing ever has. I busy myself zipping my suitcase. I'll be back before you get bored of harassing me, I mutter. He steps closer again. This time I don't step away. His hand lands at my waist automatically, like it belongs there. I don't get bored, he says. That's unfortunate for me. He huffs the faintest laugh, but his grip tightens slightly. You're not showing it, he says. Showing what? That you don't want to go. My hands pause on the suitcase. So he noticed. Of course he did. I'm excited. I lie. New market. New deals. You hate long flights. That's irrelevant. You hate eating alone. I can make friends. You won't. I glare up at him. Why are you reading me like a psychological case study? Because you're obvious. Rude. I straighten. I'll survive, I declare dramatically. Try not to miss me too much. Don't circle anyone else like a puppy. His eyes narrow slightly. I don't circle. You do, I insist. It's subtle but present. Very territorial. Mildly cute. His jaw tightens at the word cute. Good. He deserves that. I grab my suitcase and head for the door. He follows. Of course he does. At the entrance, I turn. Stop looking like that, I say. Like what? Like I'm abandoning you. He doesn't respond. And that silence is louder than anything he could have said. I sigh. Step forward. Hook my fingers lightly into the front of his shirt. You'll be fine, I tell him softly. It's just 2 months. His hand slides to my waist again, automatically, instinctively. Call me, he says. I will. Every day. That's excessive. His gaze drops slightly. Every day. I swallow. Fine. There's a pause. Then he leans down, slow enough to give me time to protest. I don't. He kisses me. Not dominant. Not teasing. Just steady. Like something grounding. When he pulls back, his forehead rests briefly against mine. 2 months, he says quietly. I nod. 2 months, I repeat. And as I step out the door, suitcase in hand, I realize something deeply inconvenient. I'm not worried about surviving the trip. I'm worried about how much I'm going to miss the man who pretends he doesn't circle, but always does. Chapter 10. Altitude Sickness, Emotional Version. Somewhere above the clouds, I realize I've made a mistake. Not business-wise. The contracts are solid. The expansion is smart. Emotionally, the plane hums steadily, cabin lights dimmed. The stranger beside me is asleep with their mouth open. I stare at the seat in front of me and, against my will, see Adrian's face instead. Specifically, the way he was circling me. Kitchen, closet, doorway, like a large, restrained puppy pretending he wasn't attached. I snort. What a puppy! I mutter under my breath. The flight attendant glances at me. I clear my throat immediately and sit up straighter. Get a grip. You are straight. You are composed. You are on a business trip, not starring in an emotional rom-com. But the memory won't leave. The way his hand automatically found my waist. The way he said, call me, every day. The way he pretended he wasn't sad. My posture cracks a little. I lean back in my seat and close my eyes. Big mistake. Now I can see him clearer. His calm expression failing slightly at the door. The subtle tightening of his jaw. That brief, quiet kiss. I exhale sharply and sit up again. What am I thinking? I whisper to myself. You dated women. You had a whole girlfriend. You are not the type to miss a man 2 hours into a flight. And yet, I miss him. I miss the weight of him moving around the apartment. I miss the low voice correcting me. I miss being cornered and pretending to protest. My brain is staging a coup. This is psychological dependency, I mutter. Temporary attachment. Proximity effect. Science. That sounds reasonable. Very scientific. Except science doesn't explain why my chest feels weirdly empty. Or why I keep replaying the image of him standing at the door, trying not to circle one last time. I pull out my phone. No messages yet. Of course not. It's been 20 minutes. Calm down. I lock the screen. Unlock it again. This is humiliating. You are straight, I whisper firmly to myself. Behave accordingly. The reflection in the dark airplane window looks unconvinced. I close my eyes again, determined to sleep. And immediately, there he is, smirking slightly. I steady, saying, you're not as straight as you think. I groan quietly into my hands. This is what heart disease feels like. 2 months. I can handle 2 months. Probably. Unless the real problem isn't distance. But the fact that I didn't realize how much I liked being circled until he wasn't there to do it. Chapter 11. Time zones and territorial behavior. The first week we call like professionals. Structured. Efficient. Did you eat? Yes. Sleep. Enough. Meeting. Successful. Very corporate marriage. Second week, the timing shifts. My morning. His midnight. His afternoon. My 3 a.m. We adjust. We always adjust. By week 3, it's routine. My phone lights up and I already know it's him. He doesn't circle physically anymore. He circles digitally. And I let him. Then one night, he doesn't call. I stare at the screen. 11:07 p.m. 11:42 p.m. 12:18 a.m. Nothing. I tell myself not to be dramatic. He's busy. He's asleep. He's in a meeting. He is not required to orbit you. I sleep badly. The next day he calls like nothing happened. You missed yesterday. I say too quickly. I know. Silence. I was out. That's it. I hate that word. End of the first month. 10 days left. I've stopped pretending this is just proximity attachment. It's not just that we shared a space. It's that I liked it. I liked him there. Liked the circling. Liked the calm dominance. Liked being watched like I was something chosen. Which is deeply inconvenient for someone who keeps giving himself straight pep talks. Tonight, the call comes late. Very late. I answer immediately. The screen flickers and, oh no, Adrian is drunk. Not tipsy. Drunk. His tie is loose. Hair slightly messy. Eyes softer than usual. He blinks at the camera. Babe. My heart trips. He has never called me that. What? I miss you. He says it simply. No teasing. No smirk. Why? He continues, frowning faintly. Is 2 months going so fucking slow? I laugh despite myself. You're dramatic. You're not here. That's how distance works. He leans closer to the camera. I don't like it. My chest tightens. 10 days. I say gently. Just wait 10 days. I'll be back. He sighs heavily and tilts the phone slightly. And that's when I see it. Someone approaches him. A figure sliding into the seat beside him. Leaning in too close. Touching his arm. My vision goes red. Who is that? I demand. Adrian squints at the screen. The person laughs at something he says. Too close. Too comfortable. My blood boils instantly. Move away from my husband. I snap at the screen. You asshole. The stranger freezes, startled. Adrian blinks slowly. Husband, he repeats, sounding pleased. The person quickly pulls back, hands raised. Whoa, okay. Adrian turns slightly, murmurs something I can't hear. Even drunk, he handles it. Of course he does. He's Adrian. Calm. Capable. Not helpless. I know that. I know he can manage himself. But it doesn't matter. Something primal and possessive is clawing up my spine. Go home, I tell him sharply. He looks back at the camera. You sound jealous. I am not. You are. I'm territorial, I correct. He laughs softly. 10 days, I repeat. Behave. Come back, he says quietly. That does it. The call ends shortly after. I stare at the blank screen. My pulse is still racing. He can handle himself. He wasn't in danger. He wasn't flirting. He was just drunk and being approached. And yet, I'm already checking flights. This is unreasonable. This is impulsive. This is not straight behavior. I book the next available ticket anyway. If anyone asks, it's a schedule adjustment. Business acceleration. Strategic decision-making. Not jealousy. Not missing him. Definitely not the way my chest tightened when someone else leaned too close. As the confirmation email arrives, one thought repeats clearly in my head. Move away from my husband. And this time, I don't even try to correct it. Chapter 12. Early arrival. Poor emotional control. The door opens. Adrian stands there in a black shirt, sleeves rolled, hair slightly messy like he hasn't been sleeping properly. He freezes. You said 10 days. I finished early. His eyes narrow slightly. You said it would take 10 days. I drag my suitcase inside like I'm invading enemy territory. Work efficiency, I reply stiffly. He shuts the door slowly. You rearranged international meetings, he says calmly. For efficiency. Yes. Silence. He steps closer. Why? I spin around, already irritated. Because you're approachable. He blinks once. That's the accusation? Did you see that guy? I snap. The fucking asshole was practically sitting on your lap. He wasn't. He was within lap proximity. Adrian studies me carefully. Are you jealous? The audacity. I am straight, I say immediately. He raises one eyebrow. Or not, I correct quickly. That's not the point. Oh, we are married. I continue, voice rising. If you're being inappropriate in public, I will handle you. His mouth twitches. Handle me? Yes. How? That's not important. He steps forward until the suitcase between us becomes useless. You flew across countries, he says slowly, because someone stood too close to me. It was excessive closeness. You yelled at him. He deserved it. You called me your husband. My brain stalls. That's legally accurate. His hand lands on the suitcase handle and gently pushes it aside. There's nothing between us now. You were angry, he says. I was protective. You were territorial. I am responsible. For what? For you. The words land heavier than I intend. He goes quiet, not teasing, not smirking, just looking at me like he's trying to decide something. You said you're straight, he says finally. I said that's not the problem. Then what is? I hesitate. Damn it. What is the problem? The image flashes in my head again. That stranger leaning in, laughing too close. My chest tightens the same way it did on the plane. I don't like people touching what's mine, I say stubbornly. His eyes darken slightly. Yours. Yes. You sound very certain. I am. A beat. He steps even closer, invading my space in that controlled way he does. And if I was being inappropriate? He asks quietly. I glare up at him. Then I would handle you. How? Don't test me. His hand slides to my waist automatically. Familiar. Claiming. Warm. You flew home early, he murmurs. And you're pretending it's discipline. It is discipline. It's jealousy. It's marital management. He almost laughs. You're unbelievable. And you? I shoot back. We're smiling at that guy. I was drunk. Exactly. So you don't trust me. That stops me. I trust you, I say immediately. Then what? I swallow. I don't trust other people around you. His expression shifts slightly. Softer. Not weaker. Just warmer. You think I can't manage myself? I know you can, I admit. But that doesn't mean I like it. There's a quiet stretch of air between us. Then he tilts his head slightly. So you're not jealous. I didn't say that. His thumb presses lightly into my waist. Say it. No. Say it. I grit my teeth. I don't like people approaching my husband. His eyes sharpen at that. That's not the same thing. I exhale sharply. Fine. I didn't like it. Happy? Very. I shove his shoulder lightly. You're insufferable. You came back for me. For image stability. He leans closer, voice lowering. For me. I open my mouth to argue. He's too close. Too steady. And the worst part? He looks pleased. Not because I yelled. Not because I flew back. Because I claimed him without thinking. You're straight, he reminds me softly. Yes. And yet you crossed continents because someone leaned too close. I look up at him. Defiant. If you embarrass me publicly, I say stubbornly, I will absolutely handle you. His lips curve slightly. I'd like to see that. And suddenly I'm not sure who's being handled anymore. Special chapter. I know. It slips out before I can rehearse it. I love you. The words hang in the air between us. No jokes. No sarcasm. No strategic framing. Just raw. Adrian looks at me. Steady. Calm. That infuriatingly composed face. I know, he says. That's it. I blink. That's it. I demand. He tilts his head slightly. What were you expecting? I don't know. Panic? Gratitude? A dramatic confession? Something. He steps closer, but I step back first. No, I say sharply. Don't look at me like that. Like what? Like you predicted this. His expression doesn't change, which makes it worse. You're unbelievable, I mutter. I just confessed and you respond like I told you it might rain. I've known for a while, he replies evenly. My chest tightens. You don't get to be calm about this. Why? Because I struggled. I snap. I fought with myself. I argued. I had a whole identity crisis. And you just, I know? Silence. Go. I say suddenly, pointing toward the living room. Sleep on the couch. His eyebrow lifts slightly. You're banishing me. Yes. for knowing, for being smug. He studies me for a long second. Then, to my shock, he actually walks toward the door. I stand there, fuming. How dare he? How dare he act like my emotional breakdown was predictable? 5 minutes pass. 10. The apartment feels wrong without him in the room. Too quiet. Too empty. I groan and bury my face in the pillow. This is humiliating. A soft knock on the door. I ignore it. The door opens anyway. He doesn't turn on the lights, just steps inside quietly. You're overthinking, he says gently. I poured my heart out. And I didn't reject you. That's not the point. He sits on the edge of the bed. You wanted fireworks, he says. But I've loved you for months. That shuts me up. I lower the pillow slowly. You what? I didn't say it, he continues calmly. Because you were still arguing with yourself. My anger falters. You thought I'd run, he adds. Or joke. Or panic. I swallow. Maybe. So I waited. He reaches for my hand. Not dominant. Not teasing. Just warm. I said, I know, he murmurs. Because I wasn't surprised. There's no smugness in his voice now. Just certainty. You loved me when you called me your husband in front of strangers, he says softly. You loved me when you flew back early. You loved me when you pretended you didn't. My throat tightens. That's not fair, I whisper. It's true. He leans closer. If you wanted drama, he says quietly, I can give you that. My pulse jumps. His hand slides from my fingers to my waist. Slow, deliberate. Adrian, you told me to sleep on the couch, he murmurs, lips brushing near my temple. But you didn't close the door. That is technically correct. You're impossible, I breathe. And you're mine. There's no arrogance in it. Just claim. His mouth finds mine, not rushed, not aggressive. Slow and sure, like he's sealing something that's been decided for a long time. I don't argue this time. I don't joke. I don't pretend. My hands slide into his shirt, pulling him closer instead of pushing away. You're not allowed to say, I know ever again. I mumble between kisses. He huffs a quiet laugh against my lips. Then say it again. I pull back just enough to look at him. I love you. His eyes soften. I love you too. That's better. He kisses me again. Deeper now, less restrained. The patience from the past months finally gone. The room feels warmer, closer, like the distance we fought through is finally collapsing. I'm not straight, I murmur breathlessly. No, he agrees calmly. And this is your fault. He smirks faintly. I know. I shove his shoulder lightly. Don't start. But I'm smiling when I say it. And this time, when he closes the distance, I don't pretend I'm trying to survive it. I lean in like I've already decided I want to. Guys, personally, I like this story. For much, if you too like it, comment your favorite moments in the story. Which chapter makes your heart flutter? Who you like, Adrian or Jaemin? If you are not subscribed BL Without Labels channel yet, subscribe our channel to motivate more stories to keeps you heart flutter. Like the video.